money out of it.
A roll call. John D, Ian McKenzie, Marchie Bruni, Matt Shoemaker, Noah Kenny. Interim Chief Duguay, Angela Davies, Sarah Miles, Lincoln Loudon, and Lisa Hudson. I think that's it. And we have Tom Irvay here with us. Welcome, Tom, and thank you for making it to our meeting. Territorial acknowledgement. We would like to begin by acknowledging that we are in the Robinson Huron Treatment Territory and that the land in which we have gathered is traditional territory of the Shinnebec, specifically the Garden River and Banchawana First Nation, as well as the Métis people. Motion to move into camera. Ian, moved by and seconded by Marchie. Resolved that the board agree to adjourn the public portion of its meeting and in camera to discuss confidential items pursuant to section 44(2) of the Community Safety and Policing Act. Roll call. Tom Bruno, myself, Ian McKenzie, Marchie Cooney, Matt Shoemaker, Noah Kenny, Interim Chief Duguay, Angela Davies, Sarah Miles, Lincoln Loudon, Lisa Hudson, and welcome media. Appreciate you coming as always. And start with the territorial acknowledgement. We would like to begin by acknowledging that we are in the Robinson Huron Treaty Territory and that the land on which we are gathered is the traditional territory of the Shinnebec, specifically the Garden River and Banchawana First Nation, as well as the Métis. Motion to move. No. Conflict of interest declaration. Any? Seeing none. Questions and information arising out of the minutes or not otherwise on the agenda. Seeing none. The adoption of the minutes of March 26, 2025. I need a mover to
Good, I had one already.
adopt.
Ian and Marchie.
So regular meeting be presented. Higher profile in favor. Motion to accept the agenda for April 30th, 2025. Mover.
You did, you got Matt, and it was seconded by Marchie.
That's okay. Big dog. Favor, okay. Number 10, communication and reports. Information only from Interim Chief.
Bear with me here, folks.
Number 10, reports and communication reports. A monthly overtime paid and banked in March 2025.
So we have probably 2 months worth of January, February, because we're
Yeah.
doing the file and year-end stats. So I'm going to go over that for you. The financials for 2025 running total, we're at 284 on the overtime, and we're at 309 this time last year, so slightly down. The month of March for us was 99 in overtime, 1,000 obviously, and we were 151 in 2024. More consistent with the years before that, so I'm not sure what the anomaly was in 2024, but obviously it was high. Okay, thank you, Angela. The monthly staff shortage overtime is at $11,000 as of March, which is good for us because we're at 24 consistently around that 20 mark for the previous couple of years. So the staff shortage overtime that we've been paying out normally seems to be coming down for March anyway, and seems to be fairly consistent for the previous months as well. So I see hopefully some benefits there.
Questions or comments? Put up your hand.
And move to stats now. You want to do the our staff shortages and overtime that's
Okay, so you're at what now? A, B, and C?
do you want Angela to continue with the financials at this point or?
No, we're gonna do financials at number 13, okay? So.
Okay.
Stop your reports.
Okay, sorry. So we'll go to monthly stats. Once again, we've year to date. Oh, yes, I'm sorry. 2024 year end statistics. It's going to be totals for the percentage of year end You interrupt me. I'm gonna find it now here in my book. 1 minute, please. That's what we want right there. All right, folks. There we go. Year-to-date stats report. So total for calls, we are down by 1.4%, which obviously is a fairly short time frame for us to be judging from. Break and enters are notably down by 37.7%. That's year to date. Once again, frauds would be up slightly. Business break and enters are also down by 67%. So good start to the year for us. 24 year-end stats will be what Lincoln was just mentioning now. So our total percentage is down 3.4%. Crimes of violence, unfortunately, appear to be up slightly by 13%. So those would be the assaults, the sexual assaults. We do have a couple of those that are down. Homicides, we only had 1 homicide last year. We had 7 the year before. So once again, 7 would be high for us. 1 is low for us. We're typically around that 3, 4, 5 area. So that's low. But your other crimes of violence, offensive weapons specifically, is up 14%. So that's for 2024. Again, the total property crimes is down by 3.4%, and total crimes is down by 0.7%. So the crime is down slightly, but of concern for the service, obviously, is those violent crimes. And we're obviously having to manage that through investigations. Intimate partner violence should also be noted is up 9.9%, which continues to be an unfortunate trend, I think, across the province. Some of that comes out of more reporting, which is great, but obviously it's a trend we'd like to see start to take a downward turn at some things. There's some we do wild stats. Okay. So we have also young offender stats, year end. Property crime is way up. However, as I look past, these are coming from Stats Canada, so I look past, some of them are showing zeros, and then this year it's at 24, 25. So I mean, obviously there's something that didn't get reported in the last few years, and that's driving the stat. So we have a like 457% increase in property crime for YOs, but I don't think that's comparatively is not accurate. So obviously we have a lot of that theft from vehicle, shoplifting, those types of things. YO crime is something that we try and address through the school programs and things like that. So we are trying to take some positive steps towards getting back into the schools and getting some exposure through the some of the programs that are in the communities, and address those as best we can. So move you to our IPV stats. So follow-up calls made as of March 2024. So we just rolling into 1 year of that program we started. 996 follow-up calls, 42 new calls for service were created, and 9 individuals were charged. So the numbers continue to grow. The people we're calling back continue to grow. However, the calls for service and the charges haven't seen a big jump. So the hope is we're doing a better job on taking the initial call, and people are feeling more comfortable reporting to the initial officers that are arriving at the call. So hopefully those are positive. Again, we'd like to see those numbers start to take a downward trend. However, it seems like it's having a positive effect. And even though 9 doesn't seem like a big number, that's great because we're doing a good job at the front end. So. Use of force, once again, we're for the month of February. We're at a fairly January and February. The numbers are 9 incidents. January we had 5 incidents. Reports vary between incident because certain calls, their TAC team go to a call, they only have to do 1 report, whereas 3 different officers go to a call, 3 of them use force, they have to do 3 separate reports. So those numbers go up and down a fair bit depending on who's responding to the calls and what kind of reports have to come in. There's obviously a lot of those are around the warrants and gun calls we're doing. Gun pointing or using firearm pointed is high for us at 5 and 8. CW display, which would be our taser, we use the take the taser out or use the laser but don't deploy the taser. So they're getting compliance before we have to actually use the taser. So that would be a CEW display. We have no deployments of the CEW. Have two public complaints. Both have gone to LECA, and neither one proceeded to investigation. So your numbers for 2024 at this point were 20, and we're only at 11 so far this year. So that can obviously jump fairly quickly. However, it's a good number for us at this point in the year. Anyway.
Any questions or comments?
Yes, I do. Going through your initial numbers and statistics,
Yes, sir.
I think that's as good a report as I've seen in some time looking at the claim, the today claim stats and the amount of decreasing and various crimes speaks well for the service itself and what we're doing. I think it's fabulous, especially when you hear people saying that crime's gone up. Well, you look at these statistics and crime's gone down considerably in a wide area. We're not near perfection yet, but we're certainly coming in with some, I think, very, very good.
I do think what you're seeing is often the calls we're taking, those IPV calls, those gun calls, they take more of our time and more of our resources. So often people say, well, I called the police and nobody showed up for 3 hours. Well, because unfortunately for us, when you go to a high risk call, it takes time and you have to do a proper full complete investigation. So sometimes the theft or property crimes aren't getting as fast response, and we're trying to provide alternate response for that. So often people can call in and make a report and get their report over the phone through our alternate dispatch or alternate call reporting center, which is helping some of the anxiety of I've been waiting for a police officer to show up. So we're trying to find other ways to make sure people are getting the service they deserve and still answer the priority 911 calls in a timely fashion.
Good. Any other questions, comments? Okay, very good. Thank you. Number 11, hiring committee update.
What about a notice of appreciation?
Oh, yes. Sorry. Well,
It's all very well to get out with that complaint.
Yeah.
It's always nice.
So we do have a nice letter of appreciation from one of our, from a member of the public, one of our officers in March. We've received it through the website. Constable Beelhartz showed remarkable patience, kindness, and compassion towards a family member dealing with a loved one. Beelhartz brought a sense of peace and calm to her action and demeanor, and they were essential in transforming a tense and overwhelming situation into one where a family member felt heard and safe. So we like to see that from officers, taking that little bit extra time, a customer service portion, and showing that compassion that sometimes is what's needed to de-escalate a situation. So we just want to make sure we're mentioning when officers are appreciated by the public. So, thank you for the reminder, sir.
Thank you. Sorry about that. Okay, so moving on to 11, hiring committee update by Mr. Bruno, myself. Basically,
Would you like me to step out for
I
this?
have a, pardon me?
Would you like me to step out for this?
We're in open.
Oh, it's open. I guess, yeah, nobody.
You can watch that.
Yeah, okay, right, see.
No, I just.
True enough, thank you.
It's an update, and it's,
We
Base-
don't want,
no.
right.
basically,
We know that.
as we all know, it's been posted, the job description has been posted, and also, we have a time period of May 16th where applications are being received. We are going to Lisa Hodgson, the board, secretary. And, at that point, once they are gathered, they will be, what's the word, vetted, so that people who are qualified may receive an interview. We will decide that when the time comes, and the interviews and the vetting will take place, and the background checks will take place as well. So we anticipate that process will take us into the first week of June, sometime in June. We don't have it pinned down, but certainly by the end of June, it'll all be completed. So we will have some news for you, but that's the process, and then we're proceeding, and applications are coming in, and we'll move forward on that. So, any comments or questions by the other people in the committee or the other board members? Thank you. Request for donation walk for Alzheimer's. Chief, can you take us through that? It's a request that comes every year.
Yeah, I think it's a kind of a standing request. One of our members is heavily involvement in the Walk for Alzheimer's, and they're basically requesting a continued donation of $500. I really don't know too much about the background other than what the letter reads, so.
And basically what we have said as a board, that we would look at each one individually every year and move from there on whether to accept or reject those donations. So anyone else like to speak to that?
I'll preempt Ian, because I know what he's gonna say.
Okay. Go
Is
ahead.
that
We'll see.
board funds should not be used for donations. Despite the benefit of the charity that would be receiving them, and I generally agree, board funds, public funds should not be used for donations. Did I capture your sentiments?
You certainly did. That's been my sentiments for a number of years. Haven't been very successful, but
Anyone else? Archie, Nula?
Or just so where would this, if this was granted, where would the money come out of?
That's a good question. Angela, please.
comes out of it.
Hang on.
The board has its own bank account with separate funds, the board receives through, monies that are turned over from property crimes and such. The board does have parameters for spending of that money. Donations does fall under the parameters of spending that money, but it's the board's discretion to decide whether to do that. So it's a separate bank account, separate from taxpayer dollars that the board administers.
Auction fund.
So it's the auction fund.
The auction fund.
Okay,
And,
Mr. Chair, if I may.
yeah, Tom, go ahead, please.
Yes, the Community Safety and Policing Act expressly permits the board to use funds from the public auctions and seized monies that come into the board's hands for charitable donations if the board believes it to be in the public interest.
Okay, thank you. Yeah.
yeah, instead of the 500, we can reduce it to 250. We are on a freeze. But maybe this year we can reduce the donation to 250 instead of the $500. That's something to look at.
Okay, so,
It's not taxpayers' money. It's what we recouped from our auctions.
fair enough. I will I'll bring forward your motion with regard to donating $250 as opposed to $500 for the Alzheimer's Society. I need a mover to move it,
I'll move it.
seconder. I'll second it. All in favor? Defeated, so it has been defeated.
Okay.
Thank you. Okay. Finance Committee.
Excuse me, Chair.
Yes,
So I thought we were voting on Marchie's amendment to make a donation of 250. Now, we still have the motion proper,
okay.
right?
But there's no actual motion seemingly.
All right, so,
Unless someone
yeah,
moves it.
Oh, I'll move it. I'll move the donation of 500.
okay. A seconder for that? Can I second twice? Yeah, seconder. Motion that we approve the $500 to the Alzheimer's Society.
Well, for Alzheimer's for the 2025 event. Yeah.
Good, thank you. Mover, we got seconder, and all in favor? Approved. Approved at 500, so, yes, thank you for that.
My record's still intact.
From our fund. From the operating fund. Thank you.
To monitor you?
Thank you, Mayor.
It's okay.
Finance Committee update quarterly meeting, Angela Davies.
No.
Just a preamble, Angela will take us through some projections. Yeah. Angela, do you want to go first or you want to?
Yeah.
Yes, okay. Yes, I will. And speaking of the Finance Committee, there have been some conversation with regard to our deficit. I'd just like to read a statement, now, a summary of your statement, to the board and to the public. Following the financial review, the Sault Ste. Marie Police Services Board has identified a $2.9 million deficit in the 2024 budget, largely due to staffing pressures, overtime, and pay equity related salary adjustments. In response, the board and senior leadership have taken immediate action, including the hiring freeze, reduced discretionary spending, and closer collaboration with the city finance department to improve financial forecasting. To maintain transparency, regular budgeted projections will be shared. While the 2025 budget is currently projected to face a 2.5 million shortfall, ongoing mitigation efforts are expected to reduce that figure. The board remains committed to responsible fiscal management while ensuring the delivery of adequate and effective policing for the community. I'm at this point, and for the media as well, we do have a summary of this as well that we will hand over to you in the next little while. I'm going to ask Angela to proceed with her section of analysis.
So at the March board meeting, I presented based on February numbers the projection for the rest of the year, and that's where that $5 million projection deficit came from. I do like to remind the board too that a projection is an estimate. It does take some guesswork to estimate these numbers and try to figure out where we're going to end up 9 months from now. So we have March results that are in. This was a late addition to your board packet. March results, we are 75% through the budget year. At the bottom of the document, it's going to show that we still have 77.74% of our budget left. That's actually incorrect. The last March payroll was not included in these numbers, so we actually have 74.3% of our budget left. The projection is based on information that we know for sure right now. So we have talked about things that we are going to try to do to mitigate having a large deficit this year. Not all of those have come to fruition, so I don't include those in the projection. I only include the things that we know for sure. So we know for sure that NG 911 got delayed, so we will not be hiring those 4 dispatchers that we had budgeted in 2025. We also know for sure that we had a couple revenue streams that were not budgeted for. We didn't know about them at the time of preparation of the budget. So that's almost $200,000 in small grants that we have received that were not accounted for. So our March projection for the remainder of the year is slightly better than what you received at the previous board meeting. So we're looking at right now, if nothing else changes, a $1.9 million deficit. We are, again, monitoring that on a regular basis. We do have regular review of what we are spending, and we are holding people accountable, and we're looking at the necessary requirement of spending. I would like to remind the board that some of the things that we have decided not to spend this year are going to be deferred until 2026. So you will see them again in the 2026 budget. We're just trying to manage 2025. I want to remind the board too, again, because this is a projection, we haven't reached our peak periods of spending yet. So we are monitoring overtime. We have summer coming. We tend to have more overtime in the summer, not just with vacations, but it tends to increase in the summer as well. There are certain expenditures that happen late in the year. We did get a 6-month reprieve for tariffs, so that was good news for us. So we're hoping that they don't hit us this year. But some of the spending in late fall could be impacted by tariffs, and we don't know the extent of that yet. So unless you have any other questions, let's see where we're at the point in time.
I'm going to start off with Matt. Go ahead.
Thanks, John. So I just want to ask you a clarifying question. Your statement at the beginning, Chair, there's a $2.9 million deficit for the 2024 fiscal year.
Correct.
Yes,
And then projected for 2025 is now 1.9 because of mitigating measures that have been taken,
yes.
with the hope that further mitigating measures will be taken to reduce it even further. Okay, those are my questions. Thank you.
Thank you.
I'm good, thank you. Thanks, Angela.
Archie?
I'm good, thank you.
So, thanks, Angela.
Sorry, I do have one more. item.
Yes. go ahead.
In the budget summary document that I believe is available publicly, it says that there are salary extras which account for 327,000 of an overage from last year. Does that mean that?
So those items are some smaller items that we just kind of lumped together. That would be, things such as when we relieve positions. Operationally, we can't have decision-making wait until somebody comes back to that position, so we relieve. We have under the collective agreement and the Employment Standards Act that we have stat holiday pay, so we work 24/7. Members are working on a stat holiday, they're getting time and a half. If happens to need overtime on a stat holiday, they get even more pay. So it's things like that that are contractual typically, and that were higher than we had budgeted for.
Okay, thank you. Not in any way bonuses or anything of that nature.
No,
Okay,
we wish.
thank you.
Any other questions or comments? Okay, and this report will be ongoing as an added step into our process, and we will continue to monitor monthly the statements as well as the projections, and that is keep us on track as well in the best way we can. Moving forward as well, there is a document here that has been shared. Basically what I said in a little bit more detail. It will be shared with the media as well. There will be some questions at the end, for our acting deputy like we normally do, in most cases. We will also, entertain any written questions. We ask that if you have any questions that need to be answered, that the questions come into the board chair or Lisa, board secretary, and we will certainly, address those issues, when and if they do arise. So at this point, I'm going to, just move on to. We've done those.
Just from a procedural standpoint, do we approve the
Their projections, I don't know if and that's a good question, Mr. Mayor.
financials? What have we done in the past?
Typically, it's for your information.
Is this for information? Okay.
Okay, number 15, staffing and deployment update, interim chief.
Yes, thanks, sir. This is more just for information as well. It was something we used to do, and then I believe it's in the new act. So we just provide you with information for advancements in rank, any new hires, promotions, just make sure the board is made aware. So we had several individuals that moved from fourth class to third class constable. We had one new hired, which was already spoken about, Leganini from out west. We have two promotions, Staff Sergeant Brad Baber from Sergeant and Sergeant Greg Valley. Those processes have been in place prior to kind of the staff freeze, so they got their promotions and they're now working in their new duties. Retirement resignations will also be brought up, but we're going to wait till after the retirement occurs and then report the month after. So we have we do have some potential retirements coming. Letters are in, but until they become finalized, we don't want to certainly speak to them. But once again, that'll be a kind of a monthly report moving forward for you.
Right. So, and retirements are very difficult to predict. They are what they are, and people have the right to tell us when they are retiring, and certainly that will impact any financial statement that we talk about in the future as well. So make that clear as well. New ridership application, Maple.
So once again, one of my tasks as the interim chief is dealing with the taxi bylaw. So my understanding is they have completed the bylaw, all the applications, and we recommend, I think there used to be some inspections that got done. Now it's the application, as long as they passed their legislative requirements. We would recommend that they be granted their company license. And once again, this is, something that gets administered down at City Hall. So, but we would recommend from chief's perspective that they allow their licensing.
Okay, having said that, can I have a mover, to move that, the new ridership application be accepted? Mover, Yola and Marchi seconded. Resolved that the board approved to make the ride as a ride share business class B. That all the required documentation and insurance is submitted and any other documents that may also be required by city legal in accordance with bylaw 2011-161, Schedule B. All in favor? Approved. Okay. Interim chief, any new business? Anything or anybody from the board side?
Should I get to go first?
Sure.
So we've recently completed the RFP for our new firearm that we're looking to move to. Happy to report that it's on budget and we haven't notified the company yet, but we just finished the final tally of the cost and we did some test firing and stuff like that and kind of came up with the company and the product that we're going to be happy with. My recommendation, obviously, it's budgeted for. We fortunately got the 25% tariff retrieval for 6 months. The government is as exempt police and military, so we'll be moving forward with that purchase. Once again, we have to notify the company. We have to have a committee meeting and some of those things, but just to let you know that has pretty much been completed, and we're very happy kind of with the end result of the product. We're going to be moving out to our frontline officers. Obviously, very very important piece of equipment for us, and I think it brings us up to kind of what the provincial standard is becoming ahead of that curve. So, just wanted to give you.
How long before? Was it-
Well, we
when was the
will.
last time we had guns, new guns?
I want to say 15 to 16 years ago. So 20 years is about where you're getting. Some of our, we're starting to see some issues. Problem we have are the current firearm we have is manufactured in the States. Most of them are manufactured in the States, but they don't have a Canadian distributor. So we're having a very hard time getting parts and replacement. As an example, we ordered a pistol 9 months ago, still haven't received it, so we canceled the order because we're finding difficulty in the supply chain. Prior to even the tariff issue, we were having issues. So,
Okay,
so anyway.
thank you, Marcy.
Yeah, there's nobody in Canada for manufacturing.
So,
police weapons?
so the companies that we put it out to everybody, nobody that no Canadian, Colt used to, most of them though have moved to the States. Two of the companies we looked at also have manufacturing in Europe. However, where these guns would be coming from are Canadian distributors, but the firearms are manufactured in the States. So. The top five, the Glocks, the Berettas, the Smith, and 6 Hour are all manufactured in the States essentially. So where you run into your trouble is if you have to get them directly from the States, is what was happening with the current pistols. We now would have a local distributor that would have stock on site in Canada, in Ontario, and so it makes it a lot easier when you need a replacement or you have an issue that they can ship quickly. And once again, we've kind of been given a 3-month time frame for delivery once we decide to make that order. So
there's a distributor in Canada or Ontario?
yeah, so Canadian distributor, one is west, the one we're there's one in Ontario, one out west, and we're so we can deal directly with that company. But the pistols are coming. Again, we would have probably looked at a workaround if the tariffs had still been in place, because they could get manufacturing done in Europe. However, we are with the tariff wave, it's just simpler for them to get them from their Canadian or American manufacturers.
Matt?
On the budget piece, I think you said it came in within budget. Is it right on the button
It's
or?
pretty much right on the
Pretty much right on
button,
the button.
within a few $1,000s. Yeah.
Thank you.
And that,
Coming out of reserves.
yes.
Yes.
So that's the kit though. So that's going to be flashlight, pistol, holster, mag pouches, mags, like and we, like I said, with the 25%, we would have been 25% over because we're within, I think, a few $1,000s. And turned out the one we're going with is actually the lower of the two costs. We're also looking at potentially going to optic for our tactical team that would be a Sault Ste. Marie company that's distributing there. So tried to include them. They don't supply firearms, but they do supply the optics. So we had them come in, and they're probably I guess they'll get notified today that they're going to be winning the bid on that. So yeah, we tried to find we didn't want to skimp on quality, obviously, but we tried to look at as many options as possible to come up with the best product for the best price for the service. So.
Any other questions or comments? Seeing none, our next meeting is May 28th, 2025. Adjournment time, I need a mover and a seconder at 2:36. Mover. Move from the end, seconder. No, resolved that the meeting is now adjourned. All in favor? And